Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video and also a AFL match preview or previews as I would say, because in this I'm gonna preview the two ANZAC games. They're going to be one is tonight, the annual ANZAC Eve game between Melbourne and Richmond, and then the traditional ANZAC Day game at the MCG between Collingwood and between the ladder leading Collingwood, hates me to say that, and Essendon. So that's going to it's going to be in this particular video. So let's get straight into it here. So get to the game that's on tonight. It is between Melbourne and Richmond. So the changes. So 3 changes for Melbourne from their win over Fremantle last weekend. Of course, Blake Howes, Daniel Turner, and Jake Melksham are out, and there's 3 big ins for them in this game. One is Stephen May, who was out for a week with that hamstring suffered in Gavin round against Essendon. Bailey Fritsch, he's back in as well, and Judd McVie, which I think is in for the first time this year. I remember rightly. I think for the first time this season, he is in, and obviously, and then Harry Sharp is obviously named as the sub. Couple of changes for Richmond. Noah Bolter is out, and we're not going to talk about it in length in this video because we all know it's been highly publicised. Not going to talk about that. Samson Ryan is also out. In the side comes Ryan Mansell off the back of his 3-week suspension against St Kilda, so he's back in, and Campbell Gray to make his debut. And what a game to make a debut, to be quite honest, in this game. And Tom Brown is named as the sub for Richmond. So to go through the lineups here. So from the back line, you got Jacob Bowie. Full back line, you got Jacob Bowie, Stephen May, and Harrison Petty. He's shifted back after he was shifted forward last week, and he kicked 3 goals in that game against Freo. In the half-back line, you got Judd McVie, Tom McDonald, and Trent Rivers. In the centres, you got Caleb Windsor, Jack Viney, and Xavier Lindsay. In the half-forward line, you've got Tom Sparrow, Cosy Pickett, and Ed Langdon, and in the full-forward line, you got Colson Fullstrop, fancy how you say that name, Tom Fullerton, and Charlie Spargo. There on the followers, you got Max Gawn, of course, the big Gawny in the ruck, with Christian Petrarca and Harvey Langford as the on-ballers. On the interchange bench, you've got Christian Salem, Clayton Oliver, Kate Chandler, and Bailey Fritsch, with Jack Billings, Blake Howes, and Aidan Johnson as the emergencies. On the other side of things for Richmond, you got in the full back line for them, you got Campbell Gray on debut, Ben Miller, and Nick Floston. In the half-back line, you got Luke Traynor, Jaden Short, and Nathan Broad. In the center, you got Hugo Ralph Smith, Sam Laidler, and James Treasy. In the half-forward line, you got Steely Green, Camden McIntosh, and Seth Campbell. and then the full forward line you got Jonty Fall, Tom Lynch, and Ryan Mansell. In the followers you got Big Toby Dan Curvis in the ruck, with Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper as the on ballers. On the interchange bench you got Sam Banks, Thompson Dow, Jack Ross, and Morris Rioli. And then the emergencies you got Tyler Sonsi, Jacob Bauer, and Caleb Smith as their emergencies. So that's the lineup there for both sides and for the game. So let's get into obviously. Obviously Melbourne come off the back of their impressive win last week at the G against Rio. In a surprisingly high-scoring game. I thought it might be, usual Melbourne way of them defending and sort of stuff, but no. It didn't help that basically Stephen May was out, so basically, and then Fremantle have lost a couple of their key defenders, so it's basically was going to be a high-scoring game, anyways. And then Richmond as well. They're coming off an impressive win too against the previously undefeated Gold Coast Suns down at Marvel, to resume this so-called streak that Damien Hardwick's had with the place ever since he said I hate coming here. So even though he has won a couple of times in the past, most notably against Essendon last year, don't tell me, do not rub it in, please, guys. But I'm still trying to get over that. But yeah, so one of these guys are going to register back. One of these two are going to register back-to-back wins. I think there's a chance that there's either a chance that it's either going to be another high-scoring game or it might just be another blowout. Let's be honest here, but I think for me that will come there. I think for me, the spotlight would be on Melbourne's defense. Of course, it hasn't been great. Their defense. Yes, they got the W last week against the Dockers. If their backline just hasn't functioned a lot throughout this, to no fault of their own. Obviously, they've had injuries. Obviously, had the injury to Lever. Then obviously had the 1 week injury to Stephen May. And then that forced Harrison Petty to shift, and with thanks to the forward line not being as good as it is. Harrison Petty had to go forward, which meant he kicked 3 goals, but unfortunately it left the back line even more depleted. So with him now back there, and then now Stephen May back, and also guys like John McVie, who's a very good halfback flanker, a very good small defender. Him back in the side, it might get them to, it might. I can't think of the word to say here. Might give their defenders confidence. That's the one I was looking for. A bit more confidence in it, if you will, and knowing that the small defenders, because it doesn't matter if it's the key defenders or the small defenders, they haven't done their game so far this year as the Melbourne defenders. So I think if they have to show mercy this young, inexperienced Richmond side. They have to show no mercy, because they don't show no mercy to them, because they don't. Then it proved in round 1 against Carlton. They against Carlton, and also last week against the Gold Coast Suns, and ended in both times Richmond winning. So if they don't, if they show showing Richmond side mercy, then it's probably it won't be good for Melbourne. If they show them no mercy, however, I think this might be a chance it might be another blowout. But yeah, predictions. So my tip would be, I think as I said, it's either going to be Melbourne in a tight margin, or it will be a blowout. I think there's a tie chance. Maybe it could be like Carlton, where where they get the win, they want, and then they get the confidence back in there. So, excuse me. Excuse me. I think for me, in a lot of ways, it's probably tough to say, but I think Melbourne will get the job done, but I get the highly sense it's going to be not as close as everyone thinks. I think it might be, I would say 3 goals. So Melbourne by 3 goals, and bold prediction. I always better put out these. Bold prediction here. Who I think the bold prediction. I think that my bold prediction will be. My bold prediction will be would be both. My prediction would be both sides score 90 plus points. Not kind of a bold prediction, but for everyone saying that it's going to be a blowout, it might not be happening. So it might be. So that might be a bold prediction. Some people think it might not, but anyway. So I think Melbourne by 3 goals and both sides get 90 points plus in this particular game. Now moving on to the big one, the big game this weekend. It is ANZAC Day between the ladder leading Collingwood, who are on top right now with on top of the ladder with 4 straight wins after their shocker in opening round. So let me get this out here. And there we go. So there are big ins here for both sides here. So first off for Collingwood, the outs. There's one big out there which we'll get to in a bit. Mason Cox is out of this game. Edward Allen is also out as well. But the big one of those 3 outs is the captain Darcy Moore. Because he suffered an ear injury that caused him to actually have stitches inside of his ear. All this week, they were saying, yeah, he's going to play. Even he said himself, yeah, I'm going to play. But then on Wednesday, he suffered. He was complaining about issues with vertigo and stuff like that. And then Craig McRae came out later that day and said he's not playing. So that's a big out there for them. And then there's a couple of big ins really here for them with Dan Houston back from suspension. Tim Membry and Lachlan Sullivan both back in. I thought they would have added in Jordan De Goey. I thought that, but maybe he's not ready to No, oh yeah, he already was in. Sorry about that. Yeah, I thought he was in the side. I thought he didn't play in last week, but obviously he did. So yeah, and then a couple of big changes for Essendon. Obviously, Sam Draper, unfortunately, did his Achilles in the game against West Coast, and his season is over. And also SEH, as I like to call him, because I can't say his last name, but he is also out as well, which means that for the first time this year we get the ins of Kyle Langford and Todd Goldstein as well. And a big milestone as well, Ben Mackay is playing his 100th game. So yeah, congrats to him. So here are the lineups here for Anzac Day tomorrow. So from the back line, you got Bruz Maynard, Billy Frampton, and Dan Houston. In the half-back line, you've got Isaac Quaynor, Jeremy Howe, and Josh Dacos. In the centres, you got Jack Crisp, Steele Sidebottom, and Pat Lipinski. In the half-forward line, you've got Bobby Hill, Tim Membry, and Jordan Ngoe. And in full-forward line, you got Will Hoskin-Elliott, Dan McStay, and Brody Mychek. In the followers, you got Darcy Cameron in the ruck with Ned Long and Nick Dacos as the on-ballers. On the interchange bench currently, right now you got Jamie Elliott, Scott Pendlebury, Harry Perryman, Bo McQuarrie, and Lachlan Sullivan, with the emergencies being Edward Allen, William Hayes, and Mason Cox. So yeah, so then we go to Essendon's lineup, and from the fullback line you got Andy McGrath, Ben McKay in his 100th game, and Jordan Ridley. In the halfback line you've got Mason Redman, Zach Reid, and Jackson Pryor. In the centres you got Xavier Dersma, so he is going to play this week after suffering a terrible blow to the ribs at the end of the game against the Eagles last week. So he's going to still be in. Dylan Shield and Archie Roberts. In the half forward line you got Jade Gresham, Nate Caddy, and Nick Martin. And in the full forward line, you've got Kyle Langford, Peter Wright, and Isaac Kako. In the followers, you got Todd Goldstein obviously in the ruck with Zach Merritt, with skipper Zach Merritt, and Sam Durham in the middle. Then on the interchange bench, as it stands right now, you got Ben Hobbs, Will Setterfield, Archie Perkins, Harrison Jones, and Jai Menzie, with Elijah Tassardis, Lewis Hayes, and SEH in as emergencies. So with the subs not being announced yet, who do I think will be the subs? So definitely for Collingwood, it will definitely be Lockie Sullivan. I think definitely he'll be the. I wouldn't be surprised if he's. I'll be surprised if he's not named the sub, to be honest. And then for Essendon, I don't. It would. Out of all these, it would have to be Menzie, but he's been good. But he's been decent. He's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, especially the game in Gavaround against Melbourne in kick 4. I think that based off that, I think it could be Setterfield because I think there's or it could be Archie Perkins, where actually I think as somebody might say it would be Menzie as the preferred one, because he's been in the sub before. I would actually go with Archie Perkins because because I feel like if for example a halfback flanker like for example Jackson Pryor goes down, then they can replace him there, or put Nick Martin down there, and then put Archie Perkins where Nick Martin was originally. Brad Scott can do that, or if a midfielder goes down, can slot him in the midfield, or someone in the forward line goes down, like for example, maybe there's Langford in the first 5 minutes goes down after he returns. Then there's a chance that maybe Perkins can go in there, and maybe players like a small forward and kick a couple of goals, which he's been known to do in his career. So yeah. So what to talk about this game? So obviously, self-explanatory about Collingwood, 5-1, top of the ladder. Still, I hate to say it because I'm a Collingwood hater, but anyways, definitely Collingwood clear favourites. Definitely a clear favourites here. Essendon, they would have to play out of their freaking skins to beat Collingwood, in my opinion, tomorrow. I think they just have to play out of their skins. They have to. If they don't, then this Collingwood side, this disciplined Collingwood side, is going to eat them up alive and spit them back out easily, resulting in a big loss. And then that confidence that built up with 3 straight wins after a terrible start to the year, that would be gone, and that would be basically rotted away with a big ANZAC Day loss if they're not careful. So yeah. It is Goldie. Now this gets on the spotlight. I'm going to put it on Goldie because Darcy Cameron is one of the top 3 best ruckmen in the league, and right now, and Goldie he hasn't played senior footy for a number of games. I think sometime last year. I think the back half last year was when the last time he hasn't played pretty much at all. Now with that, it's hard to obviously that because obviously he's been ruck coach, and he wasn't expected. He probably wasn't expected to basically get this opportunity, but now he has, because now Nick Bryan's out with his ACL injury, and then obviously Draper last week. So and our backs are pretty depleted. Our tools are pretty depleted. Now Toomita Peter, after his 6 goals last week, now he has to slot into that second ruck role, which he's done decently well in the past, but for his confidence wise, it's not good for him to play in that role, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah. Predictions here. Now, to be honest, here, before the announcement that Darcy Moore was not going to play, if Darcy Moore had played, I would have said easily Collingwood by 40 plus, because they're disciplined side, they're 5-1, they're top of the ladder. It's good, and with us being inconsistent, yes, we've won three straight games, but those 3 games were in different circumstances. We had to grind out a win against Port. We smashed, and so we should a poor Melbourne side, and we just about scraped over the line over West Coast. Let me rephrase that: a winless West Coast. So if we were struggling, if we just crept over the line against West Coast, we've got no chance against them. But now that with Darcy Moore out, one of their important defenders, it could mean that that 2 meter Peter or that Peter Wright or Nate Caddy can have a good day, have a decent day because of that. So yeah, so now I've changed it to, I still think Collingwood will win, but not quite as far as I first thought. I'm thinking 4 or 5 goals. I'll stick with 4 goals. I think it could be like, it could be a game like it was in 2022 where Collingwood was in front all day, but Essendon stuck with them, and then maybe the last quarter Essendon fade away, and then Collingwood ends up winning. I think that's where I would go with, and my bold prediction. And Nick Dacos fans wouldn't like this as well. Ned Long for the Anzac Day medal. I would love to know what is his odds of winning the Anzac Day medal tomorrow. I would love to see it. And if it pays long odds, I would recommend, by the way, gamble responsibly as well, by the way, to pay him, because if he gets like 30, does a game like in Gabba round and gets like 30, 40 touches and maybe like stacks of contested possessions and tackles and that, and then kicks a goal or two, that could definitely be the guy that could win the Anzac Day medal, definitely. There. So I think they're going to win it, but I think if Essendon will win it, if somehow Essendon win it, it's obvious who it's gonna go to. It's Zach Merritt, obviously, because obviously it's gonna have to go with him, because obviously he's put this team on his own freaking back, and he's gone and he's just gone. And he's done that pretty much for all this first part of the season. So pretty much that's what I think I would go with. So bold prediction. Ned Long to win the Anzac Day medal, and Collingwood by 4 goals in the Anzac Day game classic. So that's just pretty much it for this video. So like this video, share this to anybody who's a Melbourne fan, or a Collingwood fan, or a Richmond fan, or an Essendon fan like me. Comment down below. Who did you tip to win both of these games? And if you're watching this after the game, comment below your predictions, anyways, and tell me if you were right. Tell me if you got your predictions right or wrong. I'll still love to hear about them. And one last thing, somewhere down there. Excuse me. Click on the big red button, which is labelled subscribe. It really does help me quite a bit, because there's going to be a busy time coming up in sport. Obviously, because we've just come off of Gabba round, and obviously the Easter weekend, but obviously it is the Anzac weekend, but obviously the A-League finals are coming around. I'll do some content on that. Do some content on that. Then of course you got the back end of the IPL season. Who's going to win that? I'll do content on that too. Also the Pakistan Super League's also in action too, around the same time as the IPL. So the next couple of months are going to be crazy. Going to be utter crazy, to be honest. Capping off, of course, with the World Test Championship final in June between Australia and South Africa. That's going to shape up as an absolute ripper. Game. I've got big plans for that as well. Not only from real life stuff, but also in the gaming side too. So check back for that. But until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.